Welcome to Dolly in my pocket, DIMP as I like to call it, Tactic 5. Now, again, little book plug, the Extraordinary Leaders book, it's like book time, bedtime, I want to show you what's in each chapter, and I want you to buy this book because it's, as I call it, it's the distant relative to the coffee table book. It's a lovely size, it's hardback, you can put your coffee mugs on it, your family, your friends can enjoy reading it, and your colleagues can enjoy it. So you need to buy them for the people you work with. And it also has beautiful pictures, as you will see. So it's easy to read. And what I want to share with you from the book this session is Tactic 5. It's about feedback. Now, feedback is one of those things that you might be sick of. There's a lot of talk in the cultural space about feedback. HR, God bless HR, please give feedback, please give feedback. The amount of feedback we have to give in life is exhausting. You can't go anywhere without someone saying, can you give me feedback? Can you write a review? Let me rebrand and reframe it and inflame the need for it in your context. Feedback is essential for your bottom line. Feedback, good feedback, effective feedback is giving you a true audit of how things are right now. And you cannot grow into where you want to grow, your business, your leadership, whatever it is, or even your family, without sometimes checking in and auditing how things are right now. And to find out how things are right now, we need a clear audit, not a foggy, fuzzy one. We need clear, articulate audit of how things are going. So let's just think about music for a minute. With a concert, if there is bad feedback going on with the amp, what happens? We're listening to the music, feedback interferes, we get, and there's a horrid noise. All of us recoil and don't like it. It's unrelaxing. It makes it difficult to listen to the music thereafter for a bit because we're worried it's going to happen again. Well, that often happens with the way we give feedback. We're having a nice time, and then we do feedback and it kind of goes wrong, and then we're a bit anxious about it and don't really do it again. But here's what happens. If we give feedback and don't do it well, or if we don't give feedback, the same thing happens both ways. People either become passive aggressive or they become overly aggressive. People will become very judgmental and opinionated and be allowed to behave like that, or people will become passive aggressive and look moody. If we're not direct and clear with our feedback, people don't perform well. They just don't. Resentment builds up. When resentment builds up, people go silent or they go toxic and loud. Both are toxic, I suppose. Let me just inflame the need for feedback a little bit more. Feedback directly reflects and involves your bottom line. If you have a bad, lacking, negligent, or destructive feedback system in your business, your bottom line will be impacted negatively. And there are two bottom lines to consider here. One is the financial bottom line, and the second is your people. I always say there's two bottom lines in business. Your people won't be performing as well as they could, and they will be driving performance down, which will affect your bottom line financially. So if you want to hit the metrics, the targets, the financial milestones that you need and want, you need feedback. And I'm going to explain 3 things about feedback. 2 are going to diagnose where it's not working, and 1 is going to teach you how to do it well. But it's not for the faint-hearted, because to give feedback, if you're not used to it, is going to be hard. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel difficult. And as you know from my other tactics I've been sharing, it's about being brave. It's about saying yes to doing something differently. It's about saying, yes, I'm going to give feedback more often. Yes, I'm going to make this part of my culture. And in your yes, you're saying, I'm saying no to behaviors and situations remaining as they are. So here are the first 2 things that I think people do negatively with feedback. Number 1, I call it the lob. The lob is when we think we're good at feedback because we just say it. We can just do it. We don't mind confrontation. We can just say stuff. So we lob it out there. So, hey, I don't think, you're doing very well. I'm not happy with your performance. You really need to work on X, Y, and Z. Done. Let's look at how you could get better at this. Done. There might be good in it, but it's a bit of a lob. There's no accountability to how it lands. There's no conversation back and forth. There's no understanding where that person might be hearing it, what they've heard. It's just lobbing it and going, well, I've given feedback. What more do they want? So that's the lob. And if, I love a metaphor or a simile. If you think of the game of tennis, tennis is about rallying the ball back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The better the rally, the better the performance of it, the harder and faster the balls go. But it's a real synergy and equality within it. And so in our feedback, there needs to be that synergy if we want it to be a strong and powerful situation that can make an impact and change. Whereas in tennis, if you lob the ball, you're kind of just going, ugh, I'll just lob it over the net. And you're left with the opponent, which it really can be an opponent in a feedback situation where they just whack the ball back at you and smash you. And that's what happens in feedback. If we just lob it, we're going to get smashed back with either a passive aggression, as I mentioned before, or a dislike to you that's slightly more vocal. So the lob is not working. Even if you think you're good at feedback, you might be lobbing. The second one is what I call the loiterer. So we have the lob and the loiterer. The loiterer is the person who isn't that explicit with the feedback. They kind of loiter. Imagine someone loitering in an alleyway. It's just a bit weird. It's, what are you doing there? It creates questions and suspicion. If you're a loiterer, you are implying the audit that you want to share. You are implying the feedback you want to really directly give, but you haven't managed to find a way of just saying it explicitly because you're scared if you do, it might be a bit like a lob. So you pull back and do it in a slightly more loosey-goosey way. The problem with that is the person on the receiving end will just be suspicious. They won't really know exactly what you mean, and they might end up just holding you at arm's length and not really trusting you, believing in you, or caring really about what you say. So those are, there are many different ways of giving poor feedback, but as two overarching themes, we're just lobbing stuff that we think is right or wrong and not really considering how that's going to land and the what we're going to get back, which is generally pretty negative. Or we just loiter and we look suspicious and avoidant. The third thing is what I want to encourage you to do. And I take my inspiration from cowboys and cowgirls, and it is this: the lasso. So we have the lob, the loiterer, and then the holy grail, the lasso. The lasso is coming from this ranch lifestyle when cowgirls and cowboys are going out trying to get a bull, and they go out on their horses and they're galloping, galloping, galloping. Now, when they see the bull that they want to lasso, there is a process. They have to pace on their horse to the right level of speed with the bull and get comfortable at that speed so that they're matching the pace of the bull, right? So I'm the leader, or I'm whoever giving my feedback to someone. I need to pace at where they are with their job, with their life, with what's going on, with understanding their personality. I need to pace with how they process information, with how they make decisions, with how their sensitivities lie. And hey, I'm not saying be a therapist. I'm not saying be, a kind of chaplain, by no means. But I'm saying kind of 101 leadership is recognize that person for where they're at, because how they need feedback will be different to the next. And that is the job of a leader, is that emotional intelligence to know what do they need. And that is the pacing part. You want to run at the same pace to really understand and have empathy of where they are at. That creates a sense of calmness in the person. So let's go back to the analogy. The bull sees the horse coming alongside. What's that? What's that? Oh, they're with me. They're with me. Okay. There's an element of calm, even though the speed. Then the cowboy starts lassoing the lasso above his head. He's starting to think, or she's starting to think, where am I going to target this on the bull? And there's real precision. They look at the bull, they're thinking, where does this need to land? Does it need to land on the tail, the bum, the leg? No, it needs to go around the head. So they are eyeing up the precise point. What is the precise point of your feedback? What is the impact you want to have? The impact of the cowboy is to get it around the neck, to pull it. What is your precise impact in that moment? Target. Do you even know? If it's coming from a generic place, it will be a lob. It'll be like, oh, you're just not performing well. Oh, you just could do better with this. Or you'll be a loiterer going, well, maybe you could try X, Y, and Z. It's being really specific with what you need to hit as a target with that feedback. And that takes a bit of thought. a bit of preconsidered thought. Once the cowboy has seen his aim, knows where he's going to aim, he then does it. He says it. He does the action. We do the feedback. We share it. But here's the golden thing with my analogy of the lasso. The cowboy doesn't then let go of the rope and let the bull run off. No. The cowboy holds onto the rope and pulls it to a stop so that the bull can actually be arrested in that moment and brought to a different speed, i.e. stopping, to then have a different situation. My analogy slightly falls down at this point, but in feedback, we want to hold on to it. We don't want to let go of what we've said. That's the lob. We don't want to be foggy, like a loiterer. We will miss the target. We want to get the target with articulation. We want to hold on to it, having paced with that person, and tether ourselves to it so that we're accountable for what we've given. So in a one-to-one or in a meeting, if there's something we see when we take audit of how are things, actually, this is a performance thing that really does need to change, or this is an opportunity gap that really could do with growth. It's about pacing with the person that needs the feedback and being articulate with what we share, and then holding on to it and recognizing that they will pull a bit against it. They might say, hey, I don't like it. Hey, I don't want to change. Hey, I don't want to stop. And you're saying, hey, I've got you. It's good. I really believe in this. I really can see this for you. So how do you actually have that conversation? Well, there's a great model, not my own, one I've come across, and it's as simple as this. And if you have it as a rough structure to your conversations where you're being articulate and lassoing, and it's what we call the BID model, BID, and this is on page 36 of my book. The B stands for behavior, the I stands for impact, and the D stands for do differently. So what does that mean? When you know what you want to articulate, you know what the impact you want to have, you go straight into the behavior. However you want to use your own wordings on this, but if you have these three pillars met, you will be doing it well. The behavior is, hey, here are the behaviors I've seen. Let's take something really benign. I have noticed that you have been late every morning. Not that any of us go into work anymore, but let's take that. I've noticed you've been late to our Zoom calls, every single meeting for the past 2 weeks. I've also noticed that I've mentioned it to you quite a few times. I've mentioned it 3 times and you've said, oh, sorry, I'll change. And you haven't. So that's the behavior. You can't argue with that. Behavior is data. It's not, oh, you're always late. It's so annoying. It's, hey, here's the behavior I've seen. It's data. You then move to I, impact. The impact that this is having is that the rest of the team are on time and you're not. And it creates a disruption to the meeting. And it's creating a team dynamic that means we're not all connected and we're not starting at the same point, which means there's a disparity. We're having to take longer to go back over things because you missed the first 10 minutes. What I'd like you to do differently, I would like you to make sure that you're early and you're the first person in every single time for the next month or 2, because I really don't want this to become a habit. For example, so BID, however you want to say it, but then on the back of it, you want to be lassoed to it. And then you open up the conversation. How does that feel for you? And that might be where they go, oh, but this and that and this and that. And they're pulling going, but I've had a sick child and I've been this and that and I've been really busy. You can go, yeah, I'm sure all of that is really true. That's where you're pacing with them. It's like, yeah, that sounds really hard. How can we make this work though, so that you turn up on time? Do we need to reconfigure your meeting times? Is that what we need to do? I'm not saying we can, but is that what needs to be done? Because remember, we're going for the specific focus point. We're going for the bull's neck. We want to sort this out. We don't want to suddenly get distracted with ill children and busy lifestyles. We want meetings to be more effective. And this person is taking away from that. So keep that in mind on the back end of the conversation. But it keep coming back to the behavior, the impact, and what you want to do differently. And then on the back end, pace with them to hear what they say. And you will have that rally, like in a tennis match that I was sharing before, back and forth, back and forth. They might share something with you that's difficult and go, yeah, that's really fair. Okay, maybe I'm doing too many meetings. Thanks for that feedback. Let me have a look at that and see if I can do something differently on that. And hey ho, we have the beginning of a feedback system. This is something that's not a one-time only. This feedback works in up, down, across, sideways. It's a big one. And if you are struggling with feedback or within your context of how to land this, then reach out to me and we can talk it through. Because once we can master effective tennis rallies of feedback, we can get into a really powerful rhythm and really impact the bottom line of our business.